It might be a plastic cup, but it's a curse broken nonetheless for Manchester City. And we're on to the MTN 8 semi-finals. Welcome to ONSIDE ZA, brought to you by Betway, where you get way more. Remember, if you are joining as a new user on the Betway app, use our affiliate code ONSIDE ZA when you join. Joining me on ONSIDE ZA today, Mr. Len Moleko.
Yes, sir.
Tsepi Worldwide, welcome, darling.
Thank you, darling.
And everybody's favorite super sub. And most of all, joining us on the show today is you, the ballers. Thank you so much for joining us. Steez the baller, hello. German Black, hello. Sibo, hello. Macoberry Studios, we're getting to this one. Gift Real G, thank you so much. Tiamo, Yandisa, and Knowledge. We are here. Let's go. It is ONSIDE ZA. Guys, MTN 8 action. The quarterfinals wrapped up this weekend. Mamelodi Sundowns struggling through the weekend to get on through as we expected them to get through, but sure.
First game of the season, first competitive game. If you had to read anything into it, I think the two semis, the Cape Town City's Kokune and the Sundowns Polokwane game, very flat as compared to
the previous
first
weekend
round of games the other week. But hey, legs are still probably getting there. Eventually it'll get there, but fans are fans. And yeah.
Super Sub, we spoke about rustiness in the first set of fixtures in the MTN 8 quarterfinals. Maybe even more so rusty on the second weekend.
I beg to differ a little bit there because I feel like Mamelodi Sundowns actually exerted themselves very well to that Polokwane team. I mean, they were just unlucky. Yeah, I think Shalulile hit the post, I think, twice or three times. You know, when you're playing a game of that magnitude and you're still getting into those spaces and hitting the target, it's just a matter of getting one in and then it was going to change everything. So I think they did everything right in that game. And yes, obviously the rustiness will come into play, but I don't think they were as rusty. I think they played very well, but they were just unfortunate and not with the conversions.
Macoberry Studio saying this new Sundowns is more dangerous than last season's Sundowns.
Still to be seen. I think it's still early days.
It's too early.
Obviously, they've changed personnel, new broom, as it were, but it's not new. It was in the back room or in the garage somewhere. You just got taken out to sweep with it.
But the floor's clean already. So
Is it though?
well, Sundowns. It was a clean sweep nearly last season. Besides some cup games,
Yeah.
it was literally a clean sweep, unbeaten until the last day.
Yeah. Coach Mangoba actually said the post-match interview, he said that, the boys did play well. And, they created, I believe, in the first half about 17 chances.
That's exactly
precisely.
that, yeah.
And he said that, it was just a bit unlucky. And more than anything, he felt as though they started to get a bit anxious because the goals were not coming in. And maybe that's the reason why the scoreline was the way it is. But he said that there were many chances, but obviously he was kind of leaning towards them not being as clinical as they should have been.
Macoberry Studio saying it's tough to score against the team that parks the bus. That is true.
Yeah,
it can be tough to break down a team that's looking to be super defensive.
Yeah, and the other thing is,
and they're speedy forwards, so they were waiting for them on counter, and that's how the opportunity came about.
If you look at, see, now you made me lose my train of thought. Super sub. I forgot what I wanted to say. It literally.
Oh, sorry about that, man.
Yeah. But just basically going back to the games.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I wanted to allude to the fact that it's also a cup game. You don't want to be exerting yourself too much and then you end up conceding a goal and now chasing the game. And like they call it, it's wafa. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
So there is a level of cautious approach that also comes with trying to create opportunities, but caution will go first. We saw with the Pirates game, they were rattled when SuperSport United suddenly hit a different gear.
Yep.
To a point whereby the game even went through to extra time.
To extra time, yeah.
So it's one of those. And again, I still allude to the fact that it's the first game of the season.
It's always tricky, and it's a cup
tricky,
game.
Yes. That's why you're the one who mentioned that
Peter.
Yes,
Yes,
mentioned
yes. He
that.
never liked this competition, how it
Guys,
starts.
but I won't lie there. As much as, and granted, it is the first cup competition or the first matches of the season, but there's nothing. Remember that as spectators and supporters, we are anticipating, like, a performance of note, and unfortunately, that's not the case. I just really wish that. I don't know how they're going to somehow combat this thing of coming back and being not at their best. I'm not sure if that's even a thing that's going to happen, but we want action. And I think Orlando Pirates gave us that action. And I believe Staley's gave us that action. We want goals. And we didn't see that this past weekend.
I actually have a bone to pick with my Melody Sundowns fans.
Okay.
Pick away.
They must stop this nonsense of being quitty warriors and actually go fill up the stadium. My Melody Sundowns was playing at home at Lucas Masterpiece Moripe. It's
Small
got a
stadium.
Small
stadium.
Small stadium. It's got a capacity of 30,000 seats, and it was not packed. They felt it's a first game of the season. You've been deprived of football the entire winter, and then the first game of the season, and it's a cup game. You failed to fill up that stadium. They must stop talking on Twitter and go to the stadiums.
But what if they don't have that many fans?
I would like to believe they do.
Phew, after all that success, they should be developing a fan
I like
base.
to believe they do.
I mean, it's
They're
Mamelodi
just-
Sundowns. They're playing in
it's
their
a
territory.
massive club. Their fans have just gone into what you call it's complacency. You expect your team to win. You don't go out there and support it. They must go out and support their team. I would have loved to see that masterpiece pegged to the rafters in yellow.
So you're saying Sundowns fans should almost be like what Kaizer Chiefs fans are, for instance.
And Orlando Pirates supporters.
Chiefs, despite losing matches and stuff, the fans, in as much as they will go QWERTY warrior, but they will still go to the stadium. Or maybe during the derby and during a Sundowns match.
Yeah, Chiefs fans in the past 3 years, they are also a bit off, and I guess you tend to gravitate towards going to the stadium when your team wins more, and that's why I have an issue with my Mamelodi Sundowns. Your team is winning more. Why are you sitting back because it's winning? That's when they need your support more.
But I want to play devil's advocate.
Yep.
Do you think the stature of the game was worthy of a stadium to be filled?
Yes, and I'll tell you why.
And let's not allude it to it being the first game of the season.
That's the biggest factor that you cannot draw away.
But there are certain games, I mean, even if...
No, and Inton 8 is a big competition.
I'm not disputing that. I am saying if Sundowns was playing Pirates or maybe SuperSport United, there would have probably been more people at the stadium.
That would have meant that there would have been more Orlando Pirates supporters to fill up the stadium.
Oops. Well, I didn't see it that way, but she said it.
I spoke about SuperSport United as well, right? I think it's the stature of the game.
Pirates played
But that's wrong.
SuperSport.
But that would also mean that the
It was
supporters...
not. Pirates was playing SuperSport.
SuperSport is a big team.
My man, SuperSport has got 10 supporters.
You've counted them.
I can count them with my 10 fingers, bro. They've got 10 supporters.
And you must remember that, again, it's fine. Supporters, sharp, cool. I'm talking about the status of the actual fixture. Polokwane Sundowns, SuperSport United Pirates, two different things. This is Gavin Hunt. There are former Pirates players that have moved over to SuperSport United. SuperSport United has a history of,
Nibbling Pirates.
the six. Those kind of narratives come into play.
You're making
I
excuses
agree
for
with
those
you, but
fans.
Oxalai was the first match of the season. They were meant to be there to support their team.
Exactly.
Irrespective of who they were contending against, they were meant to be there to show support for their team, and they failed to do so.
The status of the game was not big enough.
They've got an opportunity to show up against Stellies in the semi-final. Stellies is not a small game in terms of the propensity of the game.
Fair point.
They
But
should be going there to watch a good football match. Those are two good footballing sides, Stellies and Sundowns.
look, Staley's will probably fill up the backyard, the one where the cows play.
I'm not talking about
the cow patch.
I'm not talking about the propensity of fandom for Stellies or the history of a club or anything along those lines. But if you're a Sundowns fan, you support a team that's performed sterlingly well for you over the past few years, and they're going to play a difficult MTN 8 semi-final against Stellies. It should be a good game.
Okay, let's look at football support in this country. Number one, I still stand by saying we are not a footballing nation. We just love the game. Yes, I said it. Right? Chiefs, Pirates.
Okay, wait, may I interject? What is a footballing nation? How do you define a nation as a footballing loving nation, by the way?
England is a footballing nation.
What does that mean?
They take their football seriously.
In which sense?
In all aspects
Okay.
of the
Please
game.
elaborate.
Look at their league, number one. Number two, look at the games that we even consume their football probably more than we consume our own.
Okay, so that makes them a footballing loving nation.
No, they are a footballing nation.
Footballing
we
nation.
are a football loving nation.
Okay.
Yes.
So England, which other nation is a
I'd say
footballing nation?
Germany, they
Germany
pack us
is a
stadiums
footballing
like
nation.
crazy.
And what makes us not be a footballing nation?
We don't go watch our
What do we
games.
lack?
Football is a by the way for us. It's about like to a point whereby, all right, you find instances where when the Springboks are playing, even if they
Yeah.
play in Portugal, sorry, Marco,
Yeah.
the stadium will be full.
Mm-hmm.
Bafana playing Zimbabwe, there'll be like 5 people at FNB.
Okay, so we are a rugby nation.
That we are, yes.
Go back in the history and check games of your Orlando Pirates versus Swallows, your Orlando Pirates versus Chiefs in back in the days. You will see that we are a football nation country. There's just we have regressed from the past years. That's the problem, and
But
we have to go back to what made us stand out.
Remember, in the past, going to the stadium was a let out. It was, the first time I went to a stadium was when I moved to Johannesburg. I had never been to a football stadium before that.
Yeah.
Right? So, with aspects like that, like the likes of you coming from your bakery, and all those people who have flooded into Johannesburg throughout the years, who never really necessarily had the opportunity to go to an Orlando or a Dobsonville stadium, because those were like a stone throw away for a Tepi, for instance. They were not for me. But even with being presented with the luxury, in inverted commas, of going to those places, I just sit on my couch and watch at home.
Okay, let's move on to the comments.
I still don't agree with that because, if you go to the townships or every weekend, you will see how much people love football in this country.
I said we are a football loving nation, yes, but we are not a footballing nation.
What does that even mean? I don't think
They're
makes
playing
sense.
football all the time in this country. But anyway, in the comments, Neo Isaac saying Super Sports has a fan for every day of the week. Wow. Sibusiso saying, I agree with Super Sub. Sundowns have no business not filling stadiums, especially since they've been dominant in the past 10 years.
Exactly.
And Mpoza says he understands Len's devil advocate angle, but he still agrees with Super Sub. Anyway, let's move on to the semi-final fixtures rather. Sundowns versus Stellies, like I said, should be a good game. Those are two good sides, both performing well.
After them taking Rainers, that's going to be interesting.
Also, that's another angle for
Yes,
it, for
of
sure.
course.
But
this-
And let me
Glasses.
tell you what's funny.
Yeah,
Or just
I spoke too soon last week, eh?
Precisely, I was about to say that Super Sub was talking about how Stellies has the boys on lock, and how they're not about to be taken by any team. And what did Mamelodi Sundowns
At the
do?
right price.
From your mouth to Sundowns' ears, my darling.
But at the right
price, you have to.
Yeah.
What is
Right?
that price
Granted.
actually, Len?
It
It was
does.
actually divulged.
Granted, yeah.
I don't. In South African football, we don't, unfortunately.
Because I saw earlier, sorry, I'm digressing, right? I saw earlier that Czechoslovakia Mavaso, there were interest from, I think, Algeria, and they wanted to pay, I think, 20 million to Orlando Pirates, and Pirates says, nope, can't do.
And Thingy is also being eyed. I think he's going to Algeria. I think he's a Stellies player. It's not Ikram Rhinus, the other one. No, sorry, Polokwane City. Police. Yes.
I saw that Apollo story.
Polokwane
Yes,
City.
I saw
I've
that.
heard,
Yeah.
I've read about that as
Yeah,
well.
me
Okay,
too.
back to the fixture.
Yeah.
Sundowns hosting Stellies. Stellies, will they be less likely to park the bus to the same extent and try and get at Sundowns a little bit more and try and hurt them? Or will they be playing a similar game of let's defend deep, let's make sure that we secure and then hit on the counter attack and hope that we can get a goal?
The semi-final of the MTN 8 is a bit of a tricky assignment because it's 2 legs. Right. Staleys obviously will enjoy playing their home fixture because
Yeah.
they've got a very compact stadium. Super sub, man. They've got a very compact stadium. And I think the more difficult fixture for them will be the return leg, which will be interesting to see where Sundowns played.
They'll play it at Masterpiece. Why wouldn't they play it
At
Masterpiece?
Moripe, yeah.
Or you were thinking Loftus?
Well, clash of brands.
Nah, they'll take it at Masterpiece.
But Masterpiece is also compact.
And even so, I mean,
works-
they're not able to even fill up a Moripe. Why would they want to go for something even bigger?
No, it's not even about filling up.
What
I
is
mean,
it?
It's just like
Sponsorship
A change of
issue.
scene-
no,
scenery.
it's sponsorship. Remember,
Oh, okay.
Loftus is branded by
The Red Network.
the Red Network, and this is the
Yellow
Yellow
Network.
Network's competition.
It's a lot. Good name.
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
cost a lot of money because now the Yellow Network would have to cover the stadium.
It's a conflict.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's Masterpieces works because I think even last year
Last
when
year-
they played Chiefs,
When they even the year when they got knocked by Orlando Pirates, they couldn't play at Loftus, but I think there was an issue with Masterpiece conditions. They had to take
At the
the
time,
game to
yep.
Polokwane.
yes, that's when the stadium was still being Masterpieces was like
In pieces.
Was being
Pretty
put
much.
together.
It
yeah.
was in pieces,
Yes.
yeah.
So, but Loftus they can't use because of a clash of brands on sponsors. So, I don't know.
I think Staleys, you know what, Ne, as much as Staleys will go in there valiantly as they do, but the thing is they've kind of struggled against Sundowns. And in fact, the very last match in the league against Sundowns was a 1-0 win against Sundowns. I wonder which type of Staleys we are going to see because we're yet to really see what they really bring to the table this season, you know? So it's going to be quite interesting to
Staleys
see
beat
what
Sundowns.
happens. No, Sundowns beat Staleys, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
So they might struggle against. They might have, good luck with their petite little stadium when they are playing at home. But even that might be a stalemate.
Staleys have exited themselves as a cup
Specialists.
so of
They are the
some
new
sort,
Chiefs.
yeah, they're sort of like pushing the boundaries when it comes to cups, and I think they might be in to cause an upset, which I'm hoping not, because I honestly, and
You want the final.
I want.
I know where this is
I
going.
want Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates
I know,
final.
I
I
know.
think South Africans deserve good quality football, and I think that's what.
And I think a stadium
Being a
needs
bit
to be...
harsh on
I think-
Stellies there to say that it wouldn't be good football Pirates versus Stellies or
I want-
Cape Town City versus
No.
Stellies.
I want the city. I want the Cape Town final for a change.
Now, I
The
want
powers
the
that
stadium
be,
to be filled up.
Yeah.
It won't be unless if it's Sundowns.
That's what I'm
and Pirates,
saying.
Unfortunately,
That's what I'm saying.
But I suppose if it's a Pirates Staleys final in
In
the city of finals,
Yeah.
it will probably fill up.
No, not probably. It's guaranteed fill up.
Okay, spokesperson. Yo,
No. I mean, we can always look at the history. We don't have to really debate it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
fair point.
I mean, yeah, numbers
let's-
don't lie.
Let's look at their fixture. Cape Town City, Orlando Pirates. Pirates have been very good in cup competition. We saw last season.
Who's
we
going
saw
to be the
season
ref?
before.
Don't start.
tomfoolery.
Who's going... I'm
So
joking.
Cape Town
Safa will
City.
tell us.
We are suffering as we speak, my friend. Yeah.
What
Sorry,
are
Marco.
we thinking?
It's
I
gonna be
still
tricky.
say Cape Town City to cause an upset.
Yeah, it's
Pirates
gonna
will go
be
to Cape Town, struggle,
Yeah.
and probably nibble it at Orlando.
I was about to say, I feel like Orlando Pirates is gonna struggle in Cape Town, and they might just have to finish up the job in Orlando.
But generally, they do struggle in Cape Town.
General from the days of Santos.
Of course.
Eric Tinkler says that we are the surprise package in this competition.
I think they are, and you know,
As long as the package is big enough.
yo,
Okay.
I think Cape Town City, right, were one of the first teams to get off the blocks to prepare for this coming season. I think they gathered for preseason rather quite early, than a lot of teams have.
Yeah. And they've added some good personnel actually.
Yes,
So-
they did their business very early.
Yeah, shame. They
Lost
were.
some players.
Did you see the benefits of that this weekend?
But yeah, I mean, it was a slim win for them against Sekhukhune. So what exactly are we saying about
Sekhukhune is a
Cape Town
force, guys.
City?
They're a good side.
That's what I'm telling you. Do you understand?
And again, we go back to saying Rustina's first game of the season. It's not like Cape Town City were in Spain playing against Sevilla's under-16 team.
Yeah, neither was Sekhukhune though.
But we know
We know that's a shot in another direction.
Like-
we know what that is.
This, like, I can't with this guy.
What did I do? What did I say?
Like,
we
say it
know.
with your
I'm
chest,
just
okay?
saying. I'm just saying.
But I mean, it was very close. I mean, we can't say that Sekhukhune was really. It could have been anyone's game.
They are
But Cape
good
Town
side.
City came out. But if we're saying that Cape Town City did not do as well against Sekhukhune, and then we're saying Orlando Pirates is going to struggle against them, I guess the only thing that might contribute towards Orlando Pirates not doing well, like you said, is the climate, because they are going to be going to the coast. But other than that, what else?
Well, all I can
That's
say
my question.
is that if you are looking at those upsets, you're going to be in for good odds on the Betway app.
So much
so
for Pirates.
If
being
you
afraid of
if you foresee
coastal towns.
if you foresee a Stellies
Zero
versus
bus.
Cape Town City final, you'll be in for some money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're a
Dang,
betting man,
yeah.
go for City, go for Stellies. Returns will be looking good for you.
And
it's,
then
it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Yeah.
It's unlikely. The odds are going to reflect the majority opportunity. The odds are going to reflect who the favorites are in the most likely situation.
Yes.
But odds are there to be broken at times, and there's a possibility of an MTN8 final between Stellies and Cape Town City.
Precisely,
And I
because-
think the neutral would enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the universe conspiring in Len Moleko's favor. And, ask me, for example, betting against Sundowns, against Orlando Pirates, and having a Cape Town Derby final. That would be dope. And that would have meant that I would have made a killing.
And it's highly probable those two teams can actually,
course.
Cape Town City can
Crazy
cause an
things have
upset.
happened.
It's and Stellies are a force as well. They can also cause an upset. So
Spread themselves around.
you know what I mean.
Well, absolutely. And certainly the best way to beat the odds is with the Betway app. So be sure to download it if you haven't yet and register as a new user. Use the affiliate code ONSIDE. You can also put yourself in the right place at the right time with Betway jackpot slots each week. And you could walk away with a share of 1 million rand in cash prizes. All you need to do to qualify is bet 1 rand or more on Betway jackpot slots every Thursday and Friday between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. And you'll be entered into the weekly draw. Terms and conditions apply. How's that? A 1 rand or more bet between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. on a Thursday and Friday could get you a million rand, your share rather, of $1 million in cash prizes. That's a big one. So big ups to Betway, your best way to beat the odds for sure. And your best way to beat the odds in the MTN 8 semi-finals coming up as well. Of course, we will update you on our social media feeds when those fixtures are announced and the stadiums and dates and everything's confirmed. So be sure to follow us at ONSIDE ZA across social media. Also, don't forget to follow ONSIDE ZA _ super sub.
super sub _ ONSIDE
ZA on Instagram.
Hey, I'm on 68, guys. Let's get to 100.
Let's get to 100 followers. Come on. Let's get to
So you've got more followers than SuperSport United has
Exactly.
fans.
I'm bigger than SuperSport.
Cheers, Super Sam.
Okay. Local football news in the Betway Premiership. I just
In
like
which Premiership,
saying
friend?
it.
In which-
The Betway Premiership.
Thanks, darling.
Speaking of Sundowns,
Yeah.
Tebogo Mokoena has signed a contract extension until June 2029. Is that the end of the discussion about Mokoena heading to Europe?
Looks like it.
Looks like it.
And I think probably Sundowns are outpricing a lot of. It's better to earn 500. I think I spoke about this last week on the show. It's better to earn 500k a month at Sundowns than to go earn 200,000 rands a month
Guy.
at
Brighton.
Augsburg or Brighton or whatever. So I think it's just a financial decision. And in as much as I said money is ruining football, it's a financial decision.
And I think it was very smart of Sundowns to also kind of put a rest to the rumors that he could be moving to your likes of Al Ahly or some North African country.
We've seen it all over since January.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
So they put
Since
this
AFCON,
to rest. I'm surprised
Mokwena's
though.
been on the lips of every journalist about where he's going to end up in Europe because the European clubs are licking their lips. And you're right. I
Yeah.
think this contract might be exactly that. And it's a long contract, 2029. It shows Sundowns' appreciation for the player and how important it is that, guys, leave the rumors. He's our boy.
And it's also
I think it was
looking
to,
at
okay, yeah, sorry.
what's going on. They've only gave Temba's 1 year contract extension.
Yeah. Age is a factor.
Yes. So you kind of want to solidify your A-listers. Not saying that Temba's 1 year is not an A-lister, but from an age perspective, he's not that much of an investment as opposed to or in comparison to Mokwena.
And
But
looking
may
at it,
I-
yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
May I say also, I think the reason Zwane, I'm sure Zwane is older than Mokwena.
No, he
correct?
is older.
Way
He's
older.
Yes,
like
and I
35.
think, yes, precisely. So it was a strategic decision in the sense that they still want him, but they also know that they can't have him for too long because age is obviously going to contribute towards his performance. But they gave him a year because that keeps him motivated and working hard. You see? So the harder you work, you might get another
I
extension
think
and the like.
it's a move that makes sense. You want Temba to stay there and help solidify things while your coaching
And with
staff
his
has been
experience and
shuffled.
his guidance,
Exactly.
yes.
It's like, let's not shuffle things around too much. Let's keep Temba. He's still performing at a high level. Let's make sure he sticks around for another year and helps us through this transition period. And then after that, when things have stabilized on a coaching front, etc., and you've been able to bring in the likes of Reyners into the squad, then you can look at whether you guys want to renew again, whether he wants to move on elsewhere and things like that. But it was important for them to lock him down to another year.
Facts.
No, for sure.
Facts.
And just for that stabilization that he brings to the core of the squad whilst those transitions are happening in the management
I mean, his
department.
contribution, Marco, is invaluable. I don't think there's a person who really performs optimally in the manner in which that man does. I mean, yes, we can compare.
Zwane or
Uzwane. Mokwena is great in the midfield, but Zwane is one of those people you know when he stays things are going to happen. And Shami's contribution, considering also his age, is invaluable at Sundowns. And the experience it comes with, and just his leadership role within the squad. So it's smart for them to keep him.
So, I mean, where does he
sorry,
go?
Super Sub, yeah.
Even
At the age of 35. And I think
Saudi Arabia.
at 35 and you are from down
South.
south. Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
Like I think also there is an
Ideally.
element of future plans with him, because Sundowns, I think they really do well with like a lot of ex-players that have served the club for long. Like if you look at guys like Hlompoke Kana, what's this other guy that is promising other people's stuff there in church?
You enjoyed
Go deeper,
even.
Papa.
Yeah, the
Oh.
Goti Papa as well is still very much part of Sundowns. So there's a whole lot of them that are still there within the structures of Mamelodi Sundowns. If you look at your Sapras Muriri, Godfrey Sapula, they're all part of Mamelodi Sundowns structure. So I think part of this deal, they're like, you know what, we'll give you a year, and most probably they will find a space for him somewhere within the
I
ranks
think
of.
Dennis as well.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of players that are.
Mambushi.
Kenneth Moen is part of the technical team.
Yes.
So if you serve Sundown well, this is what they do so well compared to other teams from Soweto.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to ask that
Yeah,
question.
that-
Which team does that? Which team discards of their legends or discards of their long-standing
we can't say discard.
What do you
When
say?
con-
It's
when
business.
It's business. When your contract ended, it's ended and you're no longer serving the club. But if there's a space for you, Mamelodi Sundowns will keep you. Other teams, if they don't have space for you, hey, you'll find it elsewhere.
But
Okay.
also let's take into account, right? Obviously, Swallows gone, Bloom gone. In terms of teams with, I want to call it legacy, like a rich culture and stuff. Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns,
Amazulu?
to a degree. Those are the only four
Super
teams.
Sport as well.
Super Sport.
Tawa
Swallows.
September did well. Ricardo Katze, I think, is still there as well. So
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
Super Sport, we can throw it in the mix there.
We'll see. But I think a lot of Sundowns fans are hoping that he will retire there at
Yeah,
the club
shame.
and then keep
It would
that
be nice.
legacy of Sundowns intact as far as his career is concerned. Moving on, Sibusiso asks Marco Tepi, what are the grapevines saying? When can we expect the launch of the league season?
The league is starting in September.
We know
September,
that.
we
September
know that.
15th or something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been announced.
It's mid-September standard.
It's now MTN 8 after MTN 8. There's
CAF this weekend?
CAF this weekend. And then MTN 8, I think, returns for the semifinals.
No.
Yes. The semis are going to be after the CAF.
No, it's CAF first leg, CAF second leg, and then the MTN 8.
And then the international break.
Yes. And then the league
And
resumes.
then the league starts.
Oh yeah, but I know. Oh yes, because
I know
CAF had to
Pirates is
take-
playing
CAF
on the
had to
17th,
change some dates,
and then
for
on the
us.
23rd.
Yes, they had to change some dates.
So it's
This weekend and
next week,
weekend,
yeah.
yes.
And then the MTN 8 will come back after 2 weeks.
There's nothing in the grapevine, darling, and if there is, you'll be the first to know. Trust.
The grapevines are not vining.
They are there in Stellies.
Yeah, but if you do look it up, the opening set of fixtures has been released and the season kicks off on the 14th of September.
14th, not 15th.
The Tshwane Derby, as we mentioned before, where Sundowns and SuperSport United will
You know
be
what I'm
playing against
interested
each other.
in? What sort of a trophy are we going to see? Because that
It's
DSTV,
been insane.
that DSTV trophy was
Relax.
not nice at all.
We know we've got scoops and things, but what are we going to reveal before everybody
Yeah.
else? Be
friend,
patient.
I've already seen
Wait
like,
for the reveal.
but I can't say, and I can't even describe it. But it's nice.
Let me shush. I was just saying that DSTV trophy
It's
was
nice.
crap.
Is it nice? It's going to blow
It was
people
not
away.
worth
No, it's
lifting.
nice.
I'm
It's
joking.
nice, and
But
you'd
al-
be surprised at what it looks like. Also,
But also
Like,
remember,
it's
to,
not
to,
what
be,
you
to be
expected.
fair to them, the whole deal and the redesigning of the trophy and everything happened so quickly because after COVID, the league did not have a sponsor. Upside just pulled out. So something had to give.
I mean, Abs's pull-out game was on point, but I mean, we're talking about
You couldn't resist,
Betway
would
now.
you?
You couldn't resist. No?
Okay,
Nah.
time
I
to
mean, I
move
was already
on.
there.
Okay.
Tepi, darling, are you ready
Yes,
for us
Mama.
to jet off,
Yes,
darling?
darling. Yes.
This is Around the
I
World
couldn't
with
resist.
Tepi Worldwide, brought to you by Betway. Get way more. Remember to use the Aviator game within the Betway app. It's a lot of fun, especially at halftime while you're waiting for fixtures to resume. It's a good way to pass those halftime adverts on the TV.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tepi, where are we heading off to?
Let's go to Spain. It's actually Spain, but also in Saudi Arabia at the same time. So tell me how crazy it would be, né? And what you do as an individual at the peak of your career. You're playing for probably the most successful, biggest team in the world. And then you're offered like probably 3-4 times of what you currently make. So the story is this. Real Madrid star, Vinicius Jr., you know him, my ex. He's been offered a lucrative deal worth more than $1 billion US to play in Saudi Arabia, according to multiple sources. It says that the source, which is anonymous, by the way, says that Vinny was approached by Saudi officials and offered a 5-year contract worth around 200 million euros, which is roughly 280 million US per season, plus bonuses to join the Saudi Pro League. It is said that he is considering it. Obviously, that's a lie. But the question here
Brazilians.
is that
You know Oscar.
man.
Considering.
You remember Oscar?
It's basically the Mbappe deal.
Yeah, because remember Mbappe's report rejected a 775 million deal in Saudi Arabia at Al Hilal, and his one is 1 billion US.
And Mbappe's deal was very sweet because it was a season loan while he was sitting on the bench at PSG because of the discrepancy of renewing his contract, and he would have been allowed to join Real Madrid after that.
So he could have had a year of just making
Of
man.
making
and he was
some
offered a
zack.
car and a house or something, right?
You know all these guys.
It didn't want to dilute his reputation.
Yeah. So my
Yeah.
question is this: if you are Vinicius right now, and this is a real thing, there is $1 billion
An
that is
offer
to be
will come
offered
again
to you,
next year.
what do you do?
An offer will come again next year
I've
for
won-
Vinny Jr.
I've
An
won
offer
the
will come.
Champions League. I've won the La Liga.
But you are the main, remember, you're the main name on the list of Ballon d'Or. And I don't know how much they'd appreciate someone moving to Saudi.
Yeah.
Well, that's
For
if they
me,
watch.
if I was Vinny,
Well,
I wouldn't take the deal. Because right now, I think there's still a lot that he can do in the world of football. I think he has changed his family's fortunes for good, you know. And you're still very young. You can still go at the age of 30 and make that billion in Saudi.
I'm
It'll
going to play
come.
devil's advocate again.
An offer will come.
You are Vini, ne? You
Yeah.
reject this offer.
Yeah.
All right. You stay at Real Madrid, you get injured. Then what?
What do you mean? You get injured? You get injured
Hey,
and you never
that's
play
very
football?
pessimistic to think injury instead of thing.
Because that's what ends
He's
a
a very
career.
he's a very glass.
Oh, you're
half
talking
empty
about if
individual.
ever he gets an injury that he could never play
A
football
career,
again.
yes, a career.
Those guys have
injury.
got crazy insurance, bro.
But still, I get what you're saying. But you're talking about how many footballers end their career at that age? It's a rare thing.
At what age?
At the age that Vinny's at.
Isn't he
But
like
he's not
21?
ending his career. He's going to.
But
but
what
you're
I'm
talking
saying
about
is
if-
how many people end their career with an injury.
Oh,
You're talking
oh.
about a statistical unlikelihood
1 out of 10.
at Real Madrid and the chance to win a...
Probably even
and
50.
let's be honest, greatly depreciate your opportunity to win a Ballon d'Or because it's voted for by journalists. It's voted for by captains,
Coaches.
clubs, players, what coaches, everything, right? Their appreciation for you by taking a deal to Saudi League, I will say it right here. Vinny Jr. moves to Saudi now for the money. He will not win the Ballon d'Or.
That's it.
In the story. It will go to
Yeah.
Jude or someone
Because
else.
you're really
right?
about the money, not about the
but
sport.
here's the thing, though. There was a comment that was made. I think it was by was it Oscar, but one of the Brazilians, who was saying that it's pointless to be loyal to a Real Madrid or an Arsenal or a Man United, instead of going to a Saudi or going to China, earning big money. Because at the end of the day, where football is right now, it's the owners of those clubs who are actually making the big bucks and not the actual players who are grafting every day. So rather go, and I'm just telling you what somebody said. It's not my sentiment.
I hear you.
know.
Yeah,
But
I'm listening.
we can break it down. We can break down your that guy's sentiment, right?
Yeah, it's a reach. It's
a reach.
It's a reach. I think
Those
that
guys are rich. Those guys are filthy rich.
Who's filthy
I would
rich?
be
Oh,
shocked.
Vinicius Junior.
Yeah,
is
just
filthy rich?
rich enough.
Just check his net worth.
But okay, I get it. King saying Vinny's Brazilian. I don't trust him. They love money.
Yeah, sure.
It's a fair point.
Unpredictable.
But I would still be shocked if Vinny took that deal.
No,
as
same,
big
yeah.
as it is, I'd be shocked to see it happen. But it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But I don't imagine it happens now. And I think his team will be saying to him, listen,
Relax.
that offer will come again next year.
And then once you've got a Ballon d'Or, it's even worth more.
Yes.
It's gonna be 2 billion.
Why are you wearing a ring on your ring finger?
It's not. It's my right hand.
Oh, okay.
You are casting aspersions.
Yeah.
Even though ESPN FC actually reported that the Saudi Public Investment Fund, those guys with
PIF.
the money, they've met with Vinny's representatives.
I'm sure they would.
I mean,
they have
yeah,
to
there's
present the
nothing
offer,
wrong
and
with
it's a
having a
substantial offer,
discussion,
and it'll
of
be a
course.
discussion.
Of course.
But I think that he will be in the knowledge that offer will come again next year.
Yeah.
It would, like you said, with a Ballon d'Or, it'll be more. I think now
Truly.
is absolutely not the right time to take that deal.
Yeah,
I would want a Ballon d'Or first.
And I think, don't you
and-
think that he would also want to play amongst his peers?
Well, okay, let's switch the conversation quickly before we move on, because I want to
Yeah.
move on soon. Maccaberry Studios brings up a good point. He's leaving Spain because of the racist treatment he receives there.
Is he not going to receive ill
It's
treatment
going to
in
be
Saudi?
better there.
In Arab.
I think so.
Oh, what?
I haven't heard of racist treatment in Saudi
yeah,
league.
it's probably just, covered up
They've
or
got,
nice.
they've got good PR.
I don't know. They pay everyone who's in the stadium, guys. Come now. It's not just for football fans rocking up and being hooligans. They pay them. You wave this flag at this time and you clap your hands.
Yeah.
It's not like he's a homosexual, which would be much more difficult decision.
Yeah.
Or at least an open homosexual. He's a black player who receives racist treatment in Spain,
Yep.
and he could move to Saudi for big money and be more appreciated in a way.
Because the people there have a darker hue, so therefore they won't be as racist. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'm being
Let's-
shady, Marco.
Let's do it. Let's move on.
We're going to Egypt. Yes. The Egyptian public prosecution has ordered the detention of Zamalek and Egypt defender. His name is Ahmed Fetou for 4 days pending an investigation, unfortunately. This follows an incident earlier on Sunday morning where Fetou was involved in a car accident on the Cairo-Alexandria Desert Road that resulted in the death of a police officer. He was driving at the time, was accompanied by his Zamalek teammate goalkeeper Mohamed Sobi as they were returning to Cairo. After the incident, Feto was taken into custody at the Alamian police station, while Sobi was released since he was not driving the vehicle. In fact, I checked that they had even taken a drug test and it came out negative, but they still want to take another one because, of course, they're trying to pin something on him. There's nothing about alcohol. He was clearly just speeding, and unfortunately, a police officer lost their lives.
Yeah, look, it's a serious matter, and I think it's being treated with the seriousness as it is. I don't know if it's necessarily talking about the officials of wanting to pin something on someone who's high profile. But when it's such a high profile incident and a police officer has lost their life,
It's not a joke.
it's not a joke. And
Actually, any
I think
person
the
losing
officials,
their lives, but a police officer.
yeah,
also.
yeah, it's serious public matter of public interest in Egypt, and I'm sure it's all the biggest news there right now.
Sad,
Condolences to the families of those who've lost their lives.
It could be
terribly
anyone.
sad news, but we don't like these sorts of stories attached to football in general, right? And it happens, and speed is an issue.
Like, I can tell you something, because I've been to Cairo now, and I can tell you now, if you think South Africans are bad drivers, wait until you drive in Cairo.
Oh, we're not bad drivers at all. Tommy.
It's madness there. I don't know how they do it. It's madness, and I'm not even surprised.
Seppi, where are you driving?
I mean,
we're not bad drivers at all.
no, friend. Trust me. Like, if you've driven in other parts of the continent, even
Yeah,
you realize
I
that
get
we
that,
are
but-
not bad drivers at all.
Being good by relation does not make you good. Do you know what I'm saying?
Guys, in comparison to other African continent, other countries, we're actually not bad.
I'll accept
okay?
that.
Yes.
Where are we off to next, darling?
That's all I have for you guys. I have 2 stories. And I also wanted to ask you guys once again, because the Olympics are done now. Thoughts in conclusion on, what happened?
I can sleep.
In conclusion, well done to our medal winners. You've made South Africa proud. I'm very proud of every
This sounds so
athlete.
PR.
It is PR because I don't have nice
you don't
things to say
care.
about the Olympics. So.
He's like,
Oh, snap.
Word.
Big ups to Botswana.
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
yeah, damn.
Yeah, the 200 meter.
What is it?
No.
It's a-
The reception of
They
were the welcome of Litsile.
Yes, when I think he arrived earlier today,
Yeah.
Tuesday. 30,000 people packed the national stadium in Botswana.
Incredible.
The president
Incredible.
came out. Like, I go back to saying, we're not a sporting nation, guys.
Suga. You're getting
No,
too
Mara,
excited.
Botswana has
man.
only how many million people? Guys? 4 million. How many people do they have as their population? Of course.
but they were all there. So
They were all
That's what
there,
I'm saying.
yes.
It's good. Come on, guys.
Yeah, no, it's something that is
It's
commendable,
nice.
and I think it's
Yes.
going to inspire a lot of children. And what he has done
Definitely.
for that country, I think it's going to go down in history. And also, it has like now brought the spotlight into our southern region, because obviously this is the first 100 meters we've won in the history of Olympics. So
Facts.
we definitely gonna have more coming out of this region. Trust me, because children are gonna be inspired.
So congratulations once again to South Africa. The top African teams, I believe South Africa. I think Morocco is also there, as well as Kenya. Botswana not really.
And
but
congratulations
yes,
to
because of
Nigeria
that.
for participating.
sure. Super sub. He's lucky he's not on camera, this man, because the shots fired at Nigeria, my man. Let me tell you something.
I'm
Okay.
saying, I just want to say big ups to the German guy who gave that Nigerian person a bicycle. That's the person who deserves a trophy. Anyway, that's all we have for you worldwide.
Okay. Well, you said my
Yeah, there's a
PR
guy who didn't have a
answer.
bicycle and they couldn't compete, and then he got a bicycle from the German, and
That's lovely.
So why did he go to the Olympics without a bicycle?
Because then,
Eh? Why did he go to the Olympics without
Read
a bicycle?
the article. Read the article.
the article.
Anyway, you said my answer was too PR about the Olympics.
Yes, my babe.
Here is my whole thing on the Olympics.
Let's hear you.
Okay. This is an article from timeslive.co.za about Joanne van Dijk, who won a medal for South Africa in the javelin at the
Yes, that
Olympics.
lady, yes.
Right? Yeah. Here is the article. Joanne van Dijk achieved Team South Africa's 6th Olympic medal at Stade de France on Saturday night without much support from official structures back home, relying instead on much needed help from her parents. Originally from the Western Cape, Van Dijk had a dig deep to continue competing after finishing her studies in Potch, where she now lives. She says, so very difficult. I think especially after I finished with my studies, I've been supported by my parents because they also believed in me and they were believing in that passion that I have. it was quite difficult. It's difficult when everybody else is moving on with their lives and earning salaries, and I'm just here, just trying and still trying. Okay, so that's my whole thing with the Olympics, whether it be South Africa's Olympic and Athletics Committee, whether it be the Olympics not aiding or enforcing certain things within those committees. This is an athlete who's won a medal for her country, mostly with the backing of her parents financially. She's a white woman in South Africa who went to university. How much talent do we have in this country of people who are
imagine a black
underprivileged
person.
that don't have the opportunities for their parents to assist them, and how much talent is lying around? Yes, I understand this is a South Africa issue, not necessarily Olympics, but I'm talking about the scale of the
sport.
entire industry around the Olympics, and the Olympics not taking two stories like this and making change in the nation, saying you come and compete with us. We are going to help you reform your athletics committee, because there's no interest there. It's all about their own pockets. There's my PR answer gone.
Marco, on your PR answer, ne? Like, let's be honest, guys.
Let me unscrew
What's-
this mic so I can drop it.
What's sexy about javelin? What's sexy about table tennis?
Exactly. Why are you watching? Just wait for football to come back. Enjoy your holiday. Don't watch the Olympics. Who cares?
But there's something that's sexy about the 100 meters, because the javelin athlete, what's her name? Van Dijk, struggling, right? Akani Simbine does not come out and say, no, I was struggling to get to the Olympics, because there's a level of sexiness in the 100 meters or the 200 meters. So more money,
bro.
Like,
more money is being invested, and sponsors and whatever. There's more money plugged
into the-
those kind of events than table tennis, javelin, pole vault. I mean, a lot of people probably watch pole vault for the first time because of the Swedish guy who broke the
bruh.
record.
Bro, I love track and field, honestly. I like track and field. Like everything that goes in the field. You know, I'm not talking about table tennis. I'm talking about what happens in the track and in the field.
I'm not an auditor. I'm not an investigative journalist. I'm not going to go and audit all the Olympics accounts. But from my understanding, there's substantial money there. Substantial money that is not bled down to general athletes. I understand that medal winners got some money. I understand those sorts of things. But generally, global athletics and these underappreciated sports that at least get a spotlight at the Olympics should be funded, because you guys make enough money and it's daylight robbery.
Yes,
That's it.
But
End
you
of
guys
story.
Don't, but you
It
guys
does
don't
not matter
watch.
what. It does not matter what.
They make enough money because people do watch. The Olympics make substantial money. And I'll tell you what, give me some time. Let me go do the audit.
Okay.
Okay. Let's
And
move
Noah
on.
Isaacs, the guy, the pole vault guy, is actually Swedish.
Okay.
and that's all we have for you worldwide.
Thank you so much, darling. That was Around the World with Tepi Worldwide, brought to you by Betway. Get way more. Now, if you are into horse racing, it's time to get horse powered and enter our main million jackpot for free every day, where you pick 7 winners and 1 to place for the day's races. And if you predict correctly, you'll win the grand prize of 1 million rand in cash. All you have to do to enter is tap now on the banner on your Betway app. Predict 7 winners across 8 pre-selected races. Once 7 winners have been selected, select 1 horse to place. The selection will not be required to win their race, but place in first, second, or third. Terms and conditions apply. Once the first race of the day begins, entries will be closed. If multiple customers make 8 correct selections for any specific jackpot day or event, the winnings will be split amongst all the winners. 1 million rand cash.
But are they talking horses?
Horses.
Friend, you know we didn't get an invite.
Summer Cup's still coming.
Summer
We'll get our
Cup.
invite. Relax.
Yes, I already saw. Like, there's already a theme.
Yes, don't worry,
Go
darling.
make your dress.
You
The
check.
invite is
How am I
coming.
gonna make a dress when I don't know what the theme is? Never been.
But you said you
I
saw
haven't
the
been
theme.
invited.
Check your emails.
I want a
Set up
formal
a notification. We
invitation.
will get invited. Don't you
Okay.
worry. And ballers, join us there at the Summer Cup when it does come. But that's thank you for Around the World, Tepi, darling.
welcome.
Let's jet off to England. Wembley Stadium. As the season ended last season, it begins this season. A little bit more plastic in this trophy, but Man City break their curse 3 years in a row of runners-up in the Community Shield. This time they managed to win on penalties against Manchester United. Super sub, your thoughts as a City fan?
Look, I did say that I didn't expect them to win. For me, it was one of those games. You could see even with the starting lineup that it started with the kids. On the other hand, Manchester City went all out.
Man United, you mean?
I mean, Man United went all out. So for me, it was like I think United needed it more, and for City, it was like let's give the youngsters a shot in the final. And
Manchester United played the
Marco, I need rebuttal.
Man United played the players who were available because their whole squad's injured again before the season started.
Again, guys, like Super Sap is saying, this is a plastic competition.
I didn't enjoy that. There was nothing for me in that game. I just watch it because it's a final. It's a Manchester derby, but it did not have the zeal. It didn't have the.
It's preseason.
Yeah, so you guys clearly took it seriously then.
I wouldn't necessarily. I think both sides took it fairly seriously. I think Man City showed how tremendous their squad is because Man United did put up a good squad. I thought Man United, over the course of the total 90 minutes, were a slightly better side. They created more opportunities, hit the post. Marcus Rashford should have been.
And it was expected.
I think United played quite well. What stood out for me in that fixture as a Manchester United fan is that I think a lot of Man United fans were hoping now during this transfer window that Casemiro would move on to Saudi so that some money could come into the club for replacements. I thought Casemiro was fantastic in that game. And
playing as a what?
Defensive midfielder, not in centre back.
Yes.
Man United have just signed another centre back, Matthias de Ligt
from Bayern.
Yes. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has gone to West Ham, which has allowed Manchester United to also bring Manzoa, also a former Ajax player from Bayern Munich, a right back to play at Manchester United, so that there's competition in places for Diogo Dalot and him. And then Man United, Luke Shaw's never going to be fit ever again in his life. That's a reality. So Dalot might be expected rather to play on the left back position.
For me, it's a case of obviously when you games like the Community Shield. I mean, I could be sitting here jumping on the table because Arsenal won the Emirates Cup, but like, there's really nothing much to those kind of competitions.
But if I was an Arsenal fan, I'll celebrate it.
What? The Emirates Cup?
Yeah.
They win it every year.
Oh, you don't celebrate because you're a City fan, you win everything?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I get what he's saying.
He's coming from a place of privilege, and that's why he was like,
we win it every year.
They went in all, he's talking
so Man City
nonchalantly.
fans are complacent.
That's what I'm saying. Very nonchalant. He's in his glass house there, throwing stones at the rest of
that stadium.
And apparently your court case is going to trial
very interesting.
January.
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks it starts. We should have all the information by January.
Yeah, then it must be broadcasted.
Yeah, and apparently they're willing to release all the information during these proceedings, etc., etc.
Yeah,
so
because
they
banned the ones that may attack it. So the ones
it's good for football.
Oh, listen to you. All right.
Okay.
I think you know something that the rest of us don't.
All right, mate.
You're the only one with scoops here, darling, not us. We just live our life day by day.
Oh, and he saw Skukune let go of their coach, by the way. I did say this last week, but it's official now. He resigned.
What was he doing at Royal, that guy?
Okay, but we're talking at EPL. Sorry, guys.
He was
at Royal AM.
He went to the wrong Royal.
You are so nasty. Marco, yes.
No, he saw hotel and he thought, let me sleep here for the night.
You can't live all the way from Germany, come here rusty, bro.
Marco?
Okay, so the big news really in England away from the Community Shield, although I think it is good for Man City to broken that curse of like a preseason trophy. I mean, penalties after 90 minutes. We get a very funny meme of Onana once again, who his face likes to pop up whenever there's something funny to be told.
Shame.
But the real news out of England is that the Premier League kicks off again on Friday night. Manchester United against Fulham. What are we looking forward to this season? Len Moleko, Arsenal to perform. They've strengthened in the right positions so far.
So there's this supercomputer that Opta uses.
Yes.
You know, Opta, the guys who do the stats.
Yeah.
So the supercomputer predicts that this is how the league is going to finish come the end of the season.
Okay.
Man City to finish first,
What a shock.
Wow. Who would have thought?
I'm catching my pearls.
Arsenal to finish second.
What a
Wow,
shock.
no way. Are you serious?
Did they need a computer?
Like,
Just give a pencil and paper to an
Yeah,
8-year-old.
no,
They'd write
no.
the same thing.
Just change the seasons. Liverpool to finish third.
Okay.
Now here's a shocker. Chelsea to finish fourth.
Sure.
With
interesting.
their 52 players in their squad.
Yes.
And I think they've made like the 7th signing.
Yeah, that
New-
Chelsea bench,
Bruh.
they're gonna have to like
No.
extend the benches, eh?
They have to sell
it's
very
crazy,
fast.
Yeah.
Newcastle to finish fifth.
Who's fourth?
Chelsea.
And Man United to finish sixth with Spurs seventh, Villa eighth, Crystal Palace ninth, West Ham 10th, Brighton, Hove and Albion 11th, Fulham 12th, Everton 13th, Brentford 14th, Bournemouth 15th, Wolves 16th, Nottingham Forest 17th, Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton to be relegated.
The
Leicester,
newcomers.
Ipswich, Southampton. Yo.
The newcomers.
The newcomers
basically
are going back.
out.
That's according to the Opta supercomputer.
Okay, well,
What are you looking forward to this season?
newcomers have generally been,
Yeah, underdogish.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's not the biggest reach. Those top three you're not going to argue with. The rest is interesting. I agree.
Is
I
that
don't
Opta
see how
computer a
Everton...
Pentium 2 or what?
Yeah, I don't know
think
how
so.
Everton's going to finish the season 13th because by the time Saturday rolls by, they're going to be on minus 20 points because they're going to be deducted more for some, that's
One
how
thing
it's
or
going to
the
work
next.
for Everton for the rest of the
I hope
season
not.
as well.
They worked hard, eh?
They worked hard, but they're not going to finish 13th if they keep getting points deducted. I can tell you that. By the time they kick off against Brighton on Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m., where there's a host of fixtures happening, I think it's going to be difficult for Chelsea to finish in the top four. That's why you said it was a surprise. I think you agree with me.
Yeah.
I think their squad is too bloated. I like that they're approaching Joao Felix again from Atletico Madrid, but it's a mess there. I mean, probably the craziest thing in the transfer window so far is Conor Gallagher.
Going to Madrid.
He's
coming
in
back.
Madrid. He's had a medical passed, agreed personal terms. Chelsea send an expensive private jet to collect him and fly him back to London because them and Atletico Madrid have not agreed on a deal yet, while leaving other players out of the squad completely, training with the under-21s who they don't want in the squad for the season. Let him stay there, come to an agreement. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You don't need him to come back right now. You're putting more animosity on the player.
Yeah.
You're probably affecting Atletico Madrid's taste for doing business with you in general, unlike how City did their business nice and clean for the Julian Alvarez deal. You might sabotage that deal and your Joao Felix deal and make players unhappy. Then they're going to sit in your squad.
Yeah.
You've got too many players. Get rid of some. It is a mess at Chelsea.
But you said
Do they know what
Marco,
they're
that
doing?
venture capitalists look at this as just business and just deals.
I told you guys last
Here we are.
week. Last week I told you.
What did you say?
When the season started, I told you guys. Chelsea, it seems like a lot is not understood. The way
when I
the
quote
bus-
you, said it's not a team.
Yes, Chelsea is not a team.
it feels
for
like
me, it's
American
it's like
sports
they're learning
business.
as they go. You know, I mean, how do you send a player on the other side before you had
Deal
an
in place. Why
place?
why was he even talking to the club yet?
Yes.
Because from my understanding is that Connor is leaving because they don't want to give him the contract that he wants to get paid on the same level as your Cole Palmers and the like.
But you need to be given permission from your club to speak to other clubs.
Yeah.
So he was given permission to talk before a deal was. Don't give the
Yeah.
permission.
Yeah, the merit
Stay
of why he
here.
wants to leave, it's understandable.
Cool.
Fine.
But
But
I'm just
the way the
saying-
club has handled it is a circus.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, they've not handled it well at all.
But guys, Chelsea, one, is not a club. Two, people who run Chelsea don't know what they do.
Why are you getting frustrated with that?
Because Chelsea is a frustrating team.
1 year in, talking about Chelsea, 1 year in, Cold Palmer gets a bumper new contract, earning much, much bigger money.
That's why
There
Connor
was-
is leaving.
There was no need to do that contract right now, but they wanted to reward his performances. I'm okay with that. But it's a big contract offer
Until 20
for a club who's spending money left and right on a player that you've just signed. You've just signed. He's got a long-term deal already in place. They signed him on a long-term deal because to meet financial fair play requirements in the first place. What is going on at Chelsea?
Guys, those people don't know what they're doing. That's not a club, guys.
Yeah, and I think they are cooking
Yeah, man,
something
it's
that's
that
going to get
child-
them into the danger zone.
No, it's that child who keeps on buying new toys because they look shiny and then they get tired of them in a week and they buy some more because they have the money most. So they just keep on doing that.
There will be limits at some point
course.
because if they're spending so much and they're not even making top 4, they're not generating enough. So what I'm trying to say is that there will be a point where that money runs out, not because they don't have like sponsorship injection, but because they're not making more in like stadium takings and all of that, because they're not gonna be performing in Europe,
And fans won't be happy.
which give extra, generate extra income for the club.
I think they're happy because they're going to be playing in the Club World Cup.
Okay, I want to go to the comments here quickly. Future BLO saying Kane might win his first ever trophy this season. What do you mean? He already did. He won the Visit Malta Cup in Tottenham Stadium.
Yes.
What?
What a man!
The Visit Malta Cup, the prestigious Visit Malta Cup.
How many of those does he have?
Well, where was the Tiger Cup before?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
Wasn't it
This
the
is-
Audi
this
Cup
is-
at some
guys,
point?
No, but he
This-
won the Tiger Cup. It's a different cup.
This is the season. This is Kane's season.
Are you sure?
Under company.
No. I'm talking about.
No, he has the worst
Okay,
luck.
let
eh?
me put it this way: Kane's flourish in preseason.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to our Premier League fixtures. I think what I'll throw out some predictions for positions. I do think Man City will cross the line. I think Arsenal will run them close again. I think everyone else will be miles behind again. I think that Liverpool, are going to struggle to perform at the levels that they have performed under Klopp. It is a transition period. I think there is some uncertainty amongst players like
Vigil
Mo
comes out.
Salah. Luis Diaz is in the news talking about how he's already agreed a deal with Manchester City.
I saw that.
That's an interesting piece of
Vigil
news.
coming out to say he
Van
hasn't
Dijk,
had
I saw.
a contract.
Yes, Virgil van Dijk hasn't
saw
even
that,
been. He
yes.
hasn't even, and he comes out publicly to say there hasn't been any discussions of a.
There's some level
I'm
of
already
instability.
sensing-
Yeah,
Exactly.
so
I'm sensing
I
some
don't sense
instability
Liverpool
there.
will do that well. I think Aston Villa will struggle to finish in the top 4 again because the Premier League's a difficult league, and now they've got Champions League to contend with,
They are
and the
steadies.
depth of their squad
Yeah.
might struggle with that. I think Newcastle will bounce back because they don't have European football to deal with this season, and they've got a very good coach. They've got a good squad. I think they will be a force to be reckoned with.
And West
I
Ham?
think West Ham.
It's just going to West Ham.
West Ham
Top 10.
Top 10, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
West Ham don't have the squad to be pushing for top 4. Brighton also don't really have the squad to be
Team to
pushing
watch
for
out
top
for,
4.
which I think is
Yeah.
actually going to surprise many to finish in the top half of the league, is Crystal Palace.
I think so. I will agree with that. I think Ipswich will be one to watch.
Yes, I wanted to actually ask this. We have 3 newcomers, correct? We have Ipswich, we have Leicester, we have Hampton.
Southampton.
Hampton, yes. Like how do okay, Southampton, are you happy? How do we think they are going to do?
Ipswich
in
is
the
my
top
pick of the
flight?
bunch.
Leicester is my pick of the bunch.
I think Leicester, my only issue that why I haven't gone with Leicester on this is financial issues. Leicester have massive financial issues. They might be getting hit with points deductions like Everton.
remember from
So
last
Leicester have
season.
massive-
Must start in
Yes.
the negative.
Yeah,
Yes.
so Leicester might have issues coming up, and it might
remember.
not start in the negative, but they will pop up. They've also lost their manager to Chelsea. So I think that there's problems at Leicester. I think that Leicester's a good side. They've got good players. I think they could survive, but I think they're going to be there and thereabouts. They're going to be struggling for survival. They're going to be down there. So Leicester's not my pick of the bunch. Southampton, I think that Southampton might be a steady ship as they return to the Premier League. They're a name that we know well. But I think Ipswich is my pick of the bunch, the one that I'm excited to see more of. They've performed well. I don't expect them to finish top 10, but I think they would do well to survive. after consecutive promotions from League
So
One
basically, your
and
Fulhams, your
Championship.
Forest, the ones that are somehow kissing the
Fulham,
floor, should be
Forest,
very
yes.
careful of these.
Forest once
yeah.
again, I think Forest will
Yeah.
be down there. Bournemouth are a good
Bournemouth.
side. Brentford are a good side, but this is a competitive
But-
league, so Wolves could be in trouble.
If Brentford lose Ivan Toney, do you
And I heard
still
that Tony
see-
is going to be leaving.
Yeah, I think they promised him that he can leave now. They wanted to hold
After
on to him
being
for
loyal
another
to them
season.
for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
se-
yeah.
yeah.
So
Where would he head to?
I think that
London.
that's the issue for Ivan Toney is that depending on who
I read
comes in for
something
him,
about
but
Toney.
Arsenal,
There was
the
talks, not
Arsenal
Chelsea,
news.
Arsenal news. It
Yeah,
Arsenal
I'll-
news
I'll tell you now.
fizzled out, and then it became Man United news. And I don't think Man United are going to go in for Ivan Toney right now, although it would be a good move for them because I don't think they actually have a number 9. They've signed Xerxes, who isn't a
think it would
traditional
really-
number 9, but I think that Man United's, it looks like their ethos for what they're looking to achieve would be, let's not bring in someone that's going to be ahead of Højlund. We want Højlund, Garnacho, Ahmad to have opportunities in the squad under the new Ineos ethos. And they're hoping that Ruud van Nistelrooy can get them firing. I think that's really the ethos. I don't think Man United will go in for
Oh,
Ivan
yeah,
Toney.
there's
So
nothing
that,
on Tony. They're still saying Brentford is holding tight.
yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting that if Ivan Toney gets an offer from Arsenal and they come up with the money, I think it would be a good move and it would be the move that makes the most sense because they need a number 9.
I think
Yeah, Arsenal need
of
like
his
a
quality.
20-plus goal striker.
Yeah, and I think, but also the thing for Arsenal is they would then need to get rid of the Reece Nelsons of this world. The
I think Eddie Nketiah's, but there are offers coming in and they're looking to shop for clubs for those players.
yes. So to balance the books, there's certain players that need to leave so that Arsenal can go in
Wasn't
the
they
market.
saying Keita was going to go to Saudi anyway? There was an offer for him in Saudi. Yes,
I mean, there's
I read.
offers at
Yes, yes.
Fulham. There's offers at several clubs
Shem,
for
yeah.
Eddie
Yeah, I mean,
Nketiah,
what's
so-
his name is already gone. Smith Rowe is gone. to
Emile
Fulham.
Smith Rowe,
I
I was
think
quite
there was-
shocked because he was tipped to be the biggest thing at Arsenal as
And
well.
he was well liked from an Arsenal sort of fan base because he's an Arsenal boy
Yes.
and things like that.
And
but
you
I
like
think
the boy as well.
I think that injuries played their part in him not being able to get into a very successful Arsenal side. Arsenal can't hold on to players in hopes that they turn out
Yeah.
to be good. Arsenal's competing for Premier League titles, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Spusiso saying it will be tricky for PR for Arsenal to have Tony and Partey. What did Partey do? Because I know Tony had issues with gambling.
Yeah.
What did Partey do?
I don't know.
I actually don't know.
So there.
Busis, what did Party do? He went to a party.
Let me. No, man, you suck. Come on.
Yeah, look.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check.
If you elaborate on that story for us,
Please,
Cecil,
it would be
it's not making
interesting.
sense.
It's a good
sense to
angle.
Oh,
us.
and other news in the transfer in the Premier League. Wilfred Zaha possibly returning to Palace.
He wants to move. He wants to leave Turkey. I think it'll be a hard one for him to push through because financially, I think it'll be difficult for the Turkish club too. Like after having invested time and money into him, whatever. But if it's a move that can happen, it'll be a good move for everyone. He's a good player. It will help Crystal Palace, especially since they've lost Olise to Bayern.
Yes.
So they need a player in who can play that position. So I think it would be a good move for them. Yes, Sundays, I agree. Arsenal have built a very competitive team. And I agree, Rusby as well. Arsenal do need a lethal striker to win a title. So anyway, back to what I was predicting from a Premier League standpoint. I think Liverpool will struggle. I think Newcastle will do well. I think that Chelsea, it's too much of a mess. I can't say they're going to finish top 4 like with any level of confidence because it's a mess there. And this bodes very well for Manchester United. Like if I'm not saying that I think Manchester United will finish in the top 4. I think there's problems still there at Manchester United. The injuries are a big concern. There's something up with that medical room. Something's not right.
Yeah, but yeah.
In saying that, with the other teams dropping the ball to this extent, Man United should really be saying that third place position needs to be ours. With Liverpool having their troubles, with Chelsea in a mess, Man United have to be looking at it and saying,
Spurs
we have to be third.
Yeah.
Spurs could find their way there.
I agree. Spurs was predicted to finish 7th in that list of things. I would fancy Spurs as a top 4 side above most of that lot. And I think it's Angie's second season in charge, things like that. I think Spurs have an opportunity to go on and succeed.
Okay,
Look.
so very quickly, let me just come in there, Maleko. Party had sexual assault to GBV case, something along those lines. So I'm assuming because the other one has some scandal, this one also has a scandal. So from a PR
from
perspective,
PR perspective,
precisely.
that's what he meant.
But I think
Tony have served his time.
yeah,
And he
a betting
apologized and he did his
a
whole
betting
thing.
issue is an addiction. You know, it's not like GBV or
That's an
something
addiction as
along
well.
those. No, come on. We can't excuse GBV. We can
Yeah,
we can help.
you are sick. There's something wrong.
Yeah, but I'm not going to excuse it in the same way that I'm
And
going to
say it's an
excuse
addiction,
someone who
yeah.
has a gambling addiction. They're
And
just
beating
people who
women.
need help, right? So
Facts.
whereas
Just
someone
showing
with
his money,
GBV,
that guy.
GBV is someone who needs punishment, not
Yeah,
help. Do you know what I'm saying? They need consequences. So
But
and
also
and,
help.
and
But okay, that's not the
yeah, I
conversation
get
we're
it.
having.
That's fine. But I think with Tony served his time. I don't think it would be a PR issue.
No, nothing.
I don't
And I
think.
think
so.
yes, gambling actually
he
only
was in
hurts
the
yourself
English
and no
national
one else.
team.
Exactly.
It doesn't get better than that.
Speaking of the English national team, so we saw that is it Costins is now the interim coach for the
under
next
21
match. I
coach.
mean, I did say they moved him up.
Yeah,
to
I
be,
mean that's
interim.
how Southgate got the
Yeah.
job.
So
He could become the permanent manager if they don't find someone else.
knows?
But there's
I
only
think
this
because remember
international break coming up is not serious.
Yeah.
So they'll stick with an interim coach until they find the right man for them.
Yeah, remember when I mentioned that there's a list, I think 2-3 weeks ago, that the lists involve, I mentioned Pochettino and the like, he was also on the list.
Yeah.
But obviously he's just that guy who's there. So it's interesting. It's either those guys are not available or he's really that good that they had so much faith in
it's
him.
an easy transition. You just rope in the under 21 coach while you're still looking at the CVs and the list. The international break, like Marco said, is
Yeah.
not that important. This one, at least.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out, he can always go back to his position other than
Exactly.
getting somebody external in the interim.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an easy fix. It's
Yeah,
a short-term fix.
It's a polythela.
Hey, Steve's the baller saying Manu for number 3, never Marco. Like I said, I'm not saying I expect Man United to finish in the top 4.
Len
There's
said they're going to
problems
be
there.
number 1 on the log. Remember, guys?
I was
was
pulling
I
your leg,
kidding?
He was
man.
joking, guys. Man City.
Oh,
we
I
know.
believed him.
Oh, no. But I'm not necessarily saying that Man United are a stonewaller for top 4. I'm not saying that at all. I think that there's still problems at the club, injuries being one of them, and also Anthony's being another. But I
Even
think
now, are
I
we still
think
there?
that if you're at that club
Even
today,
now.
Marco, give it a break. Man.
It's
I
been a
won't-
whole
I'll
year,
never.
bro.
I'll never. The man won't catch rest from me. He needs.
He just keeps on catching
He needs
hands.
to sleep at night. Anyway, I think that if you're at that club today in a management position, in a senior role, playing at the club, you have to be looking at third and saying that needs to be our ambition. Everyone else who's really competitive for this, like Aston Villa don't have the squad depth to compete in Champions League and say, well, they're a stonewall for third. Liverpool have issues. Chelsea have issues. You have to be saying Man United have to be targeting that. I'm not saying they will achieve it, but I think even as a Man United fan, you have to be saying that's what we need to be looking at.
May I ask a question? And this is directed to you and all Arsenal supporters. Is it now become like a reality and something that, people or supporters are okay with, to know that, and not even fight it, by the way, that come the end of the season, the 2024-25 season, Man City once again is going to lead and Arsenal is going to be second?
I was just giving you the
I'm asking
predictions.
a question.
Wait, I'm answering. I was
No?
just telling you what the supercomputer said.
What are your thoughts?
Arsenal is actually going to battle City pound for pound for the league title.
I think I've said the same thing. Arsenal are competing for the league title. End of story.
There's
They're
no
competing.
way you
Man
can-
City, it's not going to be Man City to win it easy. If
they're
you're
not
going
gonna
to
take
put
it
your
lying
money
down.
down on something, I think you would bet on Man City. They've still got Pep. They've still got a great squad. They're still probably the best club in the world. But Arsenal are the one that will compete with them. And when either of these sides wins it, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
And I think they're both going to be competing for the title all the way through to the end. It's going to
Okay,
come close.
so if I were to have your neck on this block right now and say it's either City or
City.
Arsenal, what are you going to say?
City.
And you, Super Sub?
Oh, obvious.
But
No, let's let me. It could be objective.
I'll say remove my neck.
And then obviously you'll say Arsenal.
Yes, Arsenal to win the league.
hopes are that I'd back you on this one. I'd hope that Arsenal can win the league, just break some of that supremacy of Manchester City, etc. And I think it's a very good possibility if there's ever been a time that
Yeah, because
Arsenal
it's like
can
a
do it.
Sundowns and a lot of Pirates
So
situation.
you're wishing Pirates can break Sundowns
That's what I'm. Do you
supremacy?
understand?
For the same
Yeah.
reason. I
Yeah.
agree. I hope that Pirates can, just for
Why
interest
not
sake as a
Chiefs?
neutral.
Why not Chiefs?
The same thing
And
that
Nabi was there scouting how they moved. Did you see? So hey, it could be Chiefs, eh?
That's what Leverkusen did to Bayern.
We were talking about Spurs.
That is I think that is a Leicester story. I think.
And
But hey, there's
Yeah.
another season to see.
Yeah. No.
Okay,
So
anyway.
we were talking. I just want to touch on Spurs before we head on to our predictions and close up the show. Spurs is one that's going to look even more interesting with the acquisition of Dominic Solanke.
Look, because,
That's a great signing.
yeah.
For the
Spurs,
attack, yes.
obviously, they had to like align themselves life after Harry Kane and things not necessarily going the way they wanted them to come in. They were one of the teams that started out like a house on fire last season,
And then tapered off.
and then they tanked somewhere, all right? So I think if obviously with the signings that they're making now, they have that potential to actually rattle the cage of a City, Arsenal. They probably will finish above Liverpool and Man
And
United
Chelsea and Man United. Yeah.
and Chelsea. So they are definitely a team to watch out for.
I agree. And I'll say one thing here away from Dominic Solanke in isolation is his move there is good news for Song Heung-min, who can move back to left wing.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's
To where we know how he is most dangerous. Because he was playing as a false 9 or a number 9.
That's why I was
at Spurs.
that's why I was missing those one-on-ones.
Yeah.
He always come from the side.
Yeah, so I think moving Song to the left wing because the manager doesn't have faith in Richarlison, understandably.
Brazilian.
Dominic Solanke.
It's another Anderson, that one.
No, another
Anthony. Yes.
Nah. So I think for me, Spurs, I think it's a very good move for them, and I see them doing well this season. Betway picks ahead of this weekend: Man United versus Fulham on Friday night. Len Moleko,
draw.
Seppi Dalek,
2-1 win for United.
Super Sub.
No, I'm laughing because when you mentioned it, I wanted to say draw as well. Like, I think it's gonna be draw.
I think that we are going to come out of that first fixture of the season and look at it and be like, how did Man United get 3 points from that?
Listen,
I think that Man United are going to play poorly and somehow win.
Nah, it's okay.
Draw.
Okay.
Okay.
Ipswich versus Liverpool, the early kickoff once again for Liverpool on a
kick.
Saturday.
Spaghetti kick.
Pasta
Nothing's
early
changed.
in the morning, nothing's changed. Liverpool versus Ipswich early on a Saturday morning.
I think Liverpool to win.
Ipswich, first game in the Premier League. Stadium's going to be bouncing.
Still,
They've not been in the Premier League for a long time.
Liverpool to win. They'll just carry on the momentum from last season.
They know how to win on a Saturday
Yes.
morning early.
Yeah.
Or Saturday early afternoon,
It's going
rather.
to be interesting what Arne does with Liverpool, but I still see them winning.
Okay.
Yep.
or Liverpool.
I think Liverpool to win it. I think that it's a big step up for Ipswich, but they will get their points at some point in the season. It just won't be in the opening
Facts.
weekend. Then a bunch of kickoffs at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Arsenal against Wolves. Arsenal to win comfortably
Yeah, at the Emirates.
at the Emirates.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think Wolves is one of those teams
Like
that
a
that I'm backing to struggle this
2.0,
season.
2.5
Yeah.
win, yeah.
I really think I worry for Wolves and Fulham this season. I don't think Fulham's a bad side, but they've lost a marquee player already, and I think it's going to be they've brought in some reinforcements, good players, but when you're shopping for Scott McTominay, as you say, I'm a fan of Scott McTominay. I think he's a good player, but I don't think that you're ambitious enough if that's where you're shopping.
Yo.
I'm just saying it's a tough league.
That's deep.
If you're anywhere else, you can be in Italy, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany.
It's a good acquisition.
And I think it's a good, but Premier League is that tough. So I fancy him a good player. He gets goals, etc. But Fulham, I think, might struggle this season. So all of us backing big Arsenal win at home to Wolves.
Yes.
Yep.
Arsenal win. Let's move.
Everton versus Brighton. Everton at home.
Everton to win.
Yeah. So they'll be on minus 17.
Everton to win, yeah.
Seppi, darling.
I think it's going to be a draw.
Brighton's a good side. We always forget it.
That Everton at home we saw last season. That's how they survive actually.
Sean
So
Dykes
many
don't-
times.
Sean
Yeah.
Dykes,
Many times,
Sean Dykes
yeah.
doesn't concede goals at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't concede many goals at home. He's done it throughout his managerial career in the Premier League. Newcastle against Southampton. Good game.
Newcastle to win.
Okay.
They're playing
Easy.
at home.
Yeah, Newcastle were running out of steam last season, trying to compete in so many
They're
competitions.
playing at St. James's.
Yeah,
playing
at St.
home,
James's
so that's
Park.
also, yeah.
I think that
I see a two.
Yeah,
2-0
I
win.
think that Newcastle will start the season well because they just really ran out of steam. It was just too much competitive football for them all at once. And I think after the preseason break, they didn't have many players out on international duty.
Yeah.
They didn't have an FA Cup fixture, things like that. I think this time's been good for them and they'll come back flying. Forest versus Bournemouth. I fancy Bournemouth.
Bournemouth for the win.
Me too.
Yeah, win or
Doesn't Forest have a
draw.
new manager?
No, it's still Nuno Espirito Santo, isn't it?
Still
No.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Espirito something.
Espirito Santo.
Yes,
No,
okay.
Espirito
Former
Santo.
Wolves coach.
I mean,
Spurs.
I suppose you can call him a new manager. He's been there since January, December. Around
Okay.
there. Yeah, I fancy Bournemouth in that one. I think Forest's going to struggle this season. Bournemouth a
Okay,
good
but
side.
Bournemouth just lost Solanke. We just spoke about
Yeah,
it.
but
Still,
they're still a good
They're
side.
still a good
isn't
side, yeah.
okay.
Still a good side. West Ham against Aston Villa. West Ham at home.
Villa to win.
Villa.
I see a draw.
I think Villa are favourites, but anything can happen in a West Ham game at home, right?
Yeah, true.
You know, so yeah, I'd go 1x2. Villa win or draw.
Yep.
I still go for a Villa win.
Sure. I don't argue with you. Super sub, West Ham at home, Aston Villa Saturday night.
West Ham.
West Ham at home to Aston Villa.
Yeah, West Ham at home.
Good evening.
Yeah, I know. They will win.
And
Okay.
they have the win now, don't they?
Okay, Aston
Yes,
Villa to
Saka.
win the Champions League because good evening.
Do you even know?
I still go for Villa.
I think if I'm Aston Villa right now, sorry, just to mention Aston Villa while we're there, best case scenario for Villa in the Champions League is to finish third in your group and be in the Europa League and then go win it because that man knows how to win that competition.
Yeah, but Unai knows how to play continental competitions.
That's what
So,
I'm saying.
yeah,
But Champions League's too much of a stretch for an Aston Villa.
true. But I
But
still
if he
think-
finishes third, Aston Villa go win the Europa League.
I still think he will punch above his weight in the Champions League.
I agree. I think they'll look good. Just like Newcastle did against PSG last season.
Yeah.
So I think English sides are going to perform well in European football. Brentford on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Brentford versus Crystal Palace.
Palace for the win.
Away at Brentford.
Yes. Palace finished the
I
season.
think it's a draw.
I think Brentford is going to win.
So I agree with you. Palace finished the season strong. They're going to do well.
Yeah.
But Selhurst Park is going to mean everything to them. I think that they're a stupendously good side at home.
That's what
But
I'm
away
saying.
from home, I fancy Brentford to just notch this one. But it's going to be a tight game. Again, I might go 1x2, Brentford or draw. And then the fixture of the weekend, the last game of the weekend, of course, the last game of the first round of fixtures is still to come on Monday night. But the last game of the weekend on Sunday, Chelsea hosting Manchester City, 5:30 Stamford Bridge. What a way to kick off the Premier League.
Yeah,
Man
it's a
City,
draw.
Man City are playing against a no club. Chelsea is not a club, guys.
I think it's going to be a draw, Len.
But I think City will win. Comfortably so.
I see a 3-1 win for City.
I think it's going to be a draw.
I bet on a good game.
I don't know. Look at the odds.
I'll look at the odds.
I'll tell you why I'm saying that. City always starts very slow. We've seen it with Spurs. They battled, they didn't win.
But this season, going by how last season went, you want to hit the ground running.
Of course, but it's not only up to you. You're facing Chelsea. That has been a problematic team towards Manchester City the previous season.
Chelsea with a new coach that they
Enzo
got from
Maresca.
Leicester. A team that is riddled with issues and problems. Come on, respect Man City a little bit.
It's still Stamford Bridge, eh?
Hey, this man's just blowing smoke.
I know he's...
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, you sort of took the words out of my mouth. Enzo Maresca, big problems. The squad's too big. You don't even know who you're going to choose because you've got a million players and you don't like any of them.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know
sure
what I'm saying? It's like it's just problems at Chelsea. I think City win this one.
I think Shots has tears in his eyes right now. We've been...
Sorry, Shots, but
Yo.
it's not our fault that you sold to Americans. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't start the war in Ukraine. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Oh, Mr. America.
Hey, Marco today is firing. Eh?
Is that not what happened to Chelsea? Is that war not what happened to Chelsea?
It's
No, it
essentially
is.
what happened.
Okay.
yes.
It is, Marco.
Leicester hosting Spurs. Leicester back. It's so nice to see Leicester back.
Yeah, it
but
is.
Spurs
Away
easy
for a
win.
season.
They must get the, what you call, dilly,
Dilly dang, dilly ding.
Dilly ding, dilly dong.
Dilly dong.
Oh man, what a legend!
What
But
a
yeah,
legend, yeah.
Leicester hosting Spurs Monday night, the first Monday night football game of the season. Leicester at home. I think Spurs might struggle because Leicester, the stadium might be bouncing, the whistles might be out.
I still fancy Spurs to win the game.
I also fancy Spurs to win that game, although
Same
they
here.
lost to Bayern Munich at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Preseason, those things don't count, guys.
I see a draw.
It's like us reading too much into the Toyota Cup and saying Chiefs is gonna be 1, 2, 3. It's preseason.
Remember, please respect the Visit Malaysia Cup. Please. Okay, I also fancy a Spurs win. Super sub.
Spurs.
A draw.
A draw between Leicester and Spurs, and that's how we'll wrap up your English Premier League Betway picks. Be sure to head on over to Betway. If you are joining as a new user, use the affiliate code ONSIDE ZA.
It helps us.
It helps us. It helps us out a lot.
Keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And we have
it's
a
very
lot
important.
of lights.
Sure,
to keep
and it's
on.
getting hot in here. And that's a good time to wrap it up. Thank you so much to you, the ballers. Thank you for all your predictions. We will get more into the conversation a little bit more next week. Looking forward to that Premier League fixture. But remember, stay on side. Don't be offside. Stay on side with me, Len Moleko, Tsepi Worldwide, and Super Sub.
Angu.
Remember, get way more with Betway.
Booyah.
Bye.